Journalists and guests. Now at 12:30 we have an additional briefing, and we will be speaking about the siege of Kominternove, that is near Mariupol, the data of Ukrainian intelligence and the report. Barhylevych, General Staff of Ukraine, and Skibinskyi, representative of Intelligence Service of MOD. Dear guests, welcome on stage. Dear ladies and gentlemen, as to the situation in Kominternove, on the 22nd of December, the militants seized this settlement that is in the gray zone in uncontrolled territories. The aim of these actions is provocation from the part of the militants and to provoke Ukrainian servicemen to start fire and to receive proof of violations of the Minsk agreement. The operation of seizure of this settlement was done during the trilateral group meeting. And in the course of this action, the militants took the settlement, and they conducted some demonstrative actions, and they established their position and tried to provoke Ukrainian services. And in return, the servicemen enforced the intelligence, and also they provided all the necessary strengths in order to adequately react on all the actions of the enemy. And during the analysis of all types of intelligence data, we found that these were provocative intentions to escalate the situation. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was informed on this, and the Joint Center and some declarations were made during the meeting of the group. And these actions of the militants were not supported in the zone, and it led to escalation. And the operation of the enemy has a provocative nature directed to destabilize the situation in this area and to spread discontent, and their operation didn't succeed, and the Ukrainian side adheres to the Minsk agreement. The representative of the intelligence service is going to provide us with information on this in more detail. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to provide some proofs as to the provocative actions of the Russian Federation in the east of Ukraine. Today, the situation in Kominternove is under control of Russian leadership and the leaders of the separatists, and it is used in propaganda. As to the provisions of the Minsk agreement from 2014, this settlement, Kominternove, is on the side that is controlled by so-called Donetsk People's Republic. And by the order of Supreme Council, it belongs to regions of Donetsk Oblast, where the special governance is provided. And the militants were not placed in this settlement. It was controlled by 9th Detached Motorized Brigade of Russian Federation. That is proven by the data of intelligence service and separate photos that are present in the media and prove the deployment of the Russian servicemen in this area. Military intelligence found that on the 22nd of December, the servicemen, with the help of armored vehicles and 82mm mortars, entered Kominternove. They established their positions and started engineering work, demining, and fencing the territory. And the line of contact, this occupation of the settlement violates the agreement of the violates the Minsk agreement, and these events were demonstrative because the trilateral group met that day, and the agreement was reached to introduce a ceasefire starting from 0 hours on the 22nd of December. And these actions by the servicemen are demonstrative, and the militants tried to force Ukrainian side to respond and to provoke to open fire in return, to use it in order to use it for propaganda. Ukrainian servicemen didn't respond, and there were some observers from OSCE in this area, and the militants were forced to exit Kominternove, and they didn't reach their goal. The militants were instructed by their commanders and curators. They were in civil clothes, and they provided evidence as civilians that Ukrainian servicemen were in the settlement. And on the 27th of December, the militants made provocations. Russia 24 channel, who were the representatives of which were in the settlement, and there were also special monitoring mission and GCC representatives, and we know that this place was fired by a sniper, and there was some firing near the place where OSCE mission observers were present, and Yakubov Rustam Barhylevych, a colonel from Russia, went to Kominternove together with OSCE observers. Now, the situation in Kominternove is stable, and as of 92, 29th of December, there are about 100 militants there. Some of them are in civil clothes, and they present themselves as local residents. And regarding the situation, and according to the analysis of the Ministry of Defense, in short-term perspective, and this means about the whole holidays, we expect new provocations from the Russian side along all the contact lines. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready for the questions. Do you have some questions? Please introduce yourself first. Glavkostek, Radio Liberty, to representative of intelligence service. Do I understand correctly that entrance of this group, separatist groups in Kominternove, that you don't regard it as a violation of Minsk agreement, as it is, according to the agreements, it is under control of the militants. It's not a grave violation of the Minsk agreement, but because of movement of troops and military equipment after 22nd of December, when the ceasefire agreement was reached, it is a grave violation that is now on the way. And this is a provocative action in order to provoke Ukrainian side. So the violation consists in the fact that they brought the equipment that should be withdrawn according to the Minsk agreement. And to the General Staff representative, tell me please, is this settlement important from strategic point of view for deployment of the militants? What will be the consequences for Mariupol or any other settlement or town? Thank you for your question. We should note that looking at the map, the deployment, the settlement is not strategic. It doesn't have strategic importance for the enemy. If it was strategic, they would take it. It is provocation to force Ukrainian servicemen to start military actions or take this town themselves, by themselves. Fifth channel. I have a question to intelligence service representative. Could you tell us whether the information is correct that there were some who fired at OEC mission in this Kominternove? Today, thank you for your question. As of today, the information on Kominternove and other settlements that are near, that are in this region, this information is constantly updated, and we observe all the movements that are done by Russian occupation units. As to the firing by a sniper or any other type of weapon, this information is verified. The only thing I want to say is that this is a provocative action of the Russian side. And you said also that there are about 100 persons of Russian servicemen. Where they are placed? Are they in the living in the houses of the residents? Mainly they are in the settlement, they are in civilian clothes, and they are in the houses of residents. Next question, please. Good afternoon, Nazarenko 1+1. Tell us, please, when the militants took the city, the situation was difficult for civilians. What is the situation today? Can they leave? Who can answer this question? The situation is difficult. Everything is under control of the militants. Can civilians leave? We don't have exact data on this, but we think that it's unlikely that they are free in their movements. Do you have other questions, please? I have a comment about military equipment. Where is it? Where they place it? Where do they place it? How they move it? Everything is done in order to hide the deployment of military equipment. This in hangars, and during dark hours they can withdraw it. And the situation was when the OSCE mission came. First, they didn't allow the mission to this settlement. Then they allowed only the access to those places in the village they wanted to show, and they were restricted in their actions. From Radio Liberty. Question to the representative of intelligence service about positions, about fences, about the defense opportunities of this settlement. Can you give us more information on this? Thank you for your question. This question was answered by the representative of Defense Ministry, the General Staff. This equipment that was in this settlement, it had a demonstrative nature, and it was equipment of units of military equipment of the military unit. And also the work was carried out on demining the territory in the territory of the settlement. Thank you very much. Do you have other questions or comments? There's no other comments or questions. We are going to end our press conference. Thank you very much. And in 3 minutes, we are going to speak about energy